this video I'm going to be teaching you 5 tips to help you improve your look ahead, mostly during F2L, but you could use some of these tips for like last layer and cross, but it's going to be mostly for F2L in order to improve your solves. So let's get into it. So for the first tip, it's basically look to the other side. So basically what I mean by this is I've done the cross and there's already an F2L done, but let's look at this pair. Now I know how to solve this, so I'm going to do this F2L case, but instead of looking at this, I already know it's going to be solved. I'm going to look to the other side. So don't look at this side while trying to solve this and not focusing on that, because of this is already done and we're going to solve this one. So instead look to the other side. In this case it's the right side. What do I see? This. So that when I'm performing my alg, I'm keeping track of these two. So there's the corner. I've paired it up. I'm going to insert and look. There, I'm still tracking it. And there you go. Which means that I could just insert it. Now, once we get to this spot, we've done these two already. What we can do is when we're inserting this pair, is since it's into the back, we're going to look at the front and the top. So let's see the corner. Where's the edge? Oh, I see it here. I'm going to insert that, so I know it's going to be here, so I can just cancel in pairing that up, and then of course inserting it. And then of course the rest is pretty much the same. So for F2L, make sure you're looking everywhere except from the F2L pair you're trying to solve. So when you've got an F2L case, do it and look to the other side. So if you're solving it from the left, look for the right. So because there'll be pieces in the top layer and in between slots, so make sure you keep an eye out for the other F2L cases. So for the next tip, it's basically what I mean is turn slower. So if you're averaging around 15 seconds on CFOP or even 12 to 13, you tend to go a lot more fast as you think it'll be better. But the problem is about going fast is that you could barely see any other pieces. For example, if I were to solve this pair really fast, it'll look like this. See how scruffy turning that was, and I barely saw anything looking at it, and I've done it in the front slot and it's just really bad because you cannot see anything, which means that you hesitate and you might as well pause in order to find the next case. So what I mean is just turn a little bit slower, but not too slow, but not too fast. So when you're turning slower, make sure it's a good speed in order for you to look ahead. So I'm just going to go at the pace. So I'll pair up this one. And what do I see? I see these two. So I'm going to go straight into it. And then I see I got these two joined up. And I notice it because of, I'm turning at a more nicer speed. And I'm not going too fast and I'm not going too slow. So make sure you turn a lot more slower, as you could look ahead to other pairs and you wouldn't have that rush, hesitate and pause. Number 3, muscle memory. Now what I mean by this is muscle memory is basically where you've got something in your brain that you can instantly do. For example, if I see this F2L case, I know to instantly do it in a way because I've done it so many times that it should be in your muscle memory. It's like doing everyday stuff. You instantly know what to do. So now by drilling in all these F2L algorithms and OLL and PLL, what you can do is just drill them, which means they'll get in your brain and you can adapt to the speed. For example, if I see this, I know that I can do an alg in order so I can insert it into the back slot because of muscle memory. These two, I don't need to hesitate to go, oh, what do I do for this case? And I could just instantly do it straight away. And then these two, I can instantly do it. That's the point of muscle memory. If you know all your muscle memory for every F2L algorithm, it should be a lot more easier to do it straight away instead of pausing and hesitating, which means good look ahead. For example, in OLL and PLL, I see a fish. What am I going to do? I'm going to instantly do the soon. And now I see this bar. I've done it so many times that I know it's going to be a G perm. So let's go. And now a UF. See, that's the point of muscle memory. You just do it straight away, which can reduce pauses and it will be a lot more better for you when you're doing solves. For the 4th tip, this is inserting into back slots. Now this is a bit more advanced because of in F2L you need to be able to insert into back slots as it can help you look around. For example, I see this case and what I can do is insert it to the back slot instead of rotating. So a beginner would do this, pair it up, then rotate and insert. Whereas if you're a bit more advanced, you would know that you can just do it like this to the back. Now, the point of the back slot, in order to help look ahead, is that once you've done both the back slots, of course it's not always the case, you can look ahead to the front 2 slots, which is a lot more easier because you do the front 2 and the top layer, so it should be easy looking for F2L pieces. So I can just do another pair, so then I could just insert this one, like so. Now, what was the problem with that? Inserted that. Now, I wouldn't have saw that was a pair, and the thing is that you should actually insert the back slots first and never do a diagonal slot. The problem with a diagonal slot is that when you're trying to solve the last 2 slots, they are diagonal from each other, which means that you're going to have to do a lot more rotations. For example, when I'm solving this case, I'm going to have to rotate, solve it, rotate, insert it, then these 2, like so. When I do 2 diagonal slots, you have to rotate back and forth and you can barely see the last one, which is in the back slot. So what I recommend is either do 2 front slots, 2 back slots, 2 left, 2 right. That's basically what I mean, which means you can look ahead to a lot more F2L cases in the future. And that is basically the tip, so make sure you use back slots and never diagonal slots. Okay, so now for the last tip. This one's a little bit more advanced. It's cross plus 1. Now this involves a cross and an F2L. So basically what we're going to do is predict our first pair. Now this is a really tricky stage and I cannot do it, I have to do a lot more examples in order for people to understand, but I'm just going to do one quick example solve. So basically what it is that you solve the cross while also planning out your first F2L pair and where it will be, so you track it in a way. So here's my cross pieces. I see we got orange and blue and they're in the right spot and they're opposite to the center. I got red and I got green. I start off with an easy cross. So what I'm going to do is do a U prime, so I can move it over here. Then an F prime, R prime, F prime, D2. Yeah? So now let's track our first pair. So let's do this corner. So a U, we'll move it over here. A U prime I meant. U prime will move it over here. Then F prime doesn't affect it. R prime moves it over here. I'm tracking the white. And then F prime moves it over here. So we know this one is going to be over here. And in order to find out what's on the top, we can literally just pretend we're twisting it. Blue's on top and we'll just do a U. I know it's a bit confusing, but this one winds up here. So it's in the top layer, which is good. Now let's look for the edge, and I'm just going to track the orange for now. So U doesn't affect it, but then an F prime moves it up, R prime, and then F prime. So it's going to be over here, and it goes over here. So then what I know is that orange is over here, white's here, and then blue's on top because I just know that. So I know I'm going to have to solve the case right here. So let's do it, and make sure you got that D2 at the end, so like this. There you go, I've got it, which means I can go straight into it and turning at a more pace, which means that I barely have to pause during the solve. Yeah, that was a bad solve. But anyway, thanks for watching the video and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you improve your look ahead and use the tips. Make sure the last 2 are a bit more advanced and starting into back slots and doing cross plus 1. But you basically get the idea that you should turn slower. You should also just basically barely pause by inserting into back slots, as well as use muscle memory, which means drilling over all those F2L algs. And for now, see ya.